pick, using that chainsaw traverse across the map very quickly, immediately finding a Meg in his sights.
And we saw Dragon play really well in the first round as well, not letting people apply too much pressure, just forcing these chases early, knowing that that is one of the strengths of the Billy there. The Meg trying to bait the Billy into swinging so she could get the stun on the pallet drop, but either way the pallet still had to go. So moving away now, and this is going to be an interesting chase.
Unfortunately for the teammates of Meg, not sure if they did it intentionally, ran straight into a Jenny that was currently being worked on by another member of the Canadian Hookers. Going to be damaging the Jenny in the meantime, trying to stall out that progress. Just getting a little bit of collision there. Meg trying to do what she can. Nice juke.
Yeah, that was fantastic. She faked him into taking a swing at the window and just hugged those boxes just enough to make it look as if that's what she was going for. It was really well done. Again, we're probably that's what you want is you want people to assume that the pallet was going. I was in the same boat as that Billy right there, thinking that pallet was getting dropped, and that is the pressure of the mind game that can be created with stuff like that. So fantastic work so far to apply this pressure to a Billy who really does want to eat those pallets. You know, he's swinging through pallets exactly how he should be, but this is still taking their time up whilst generators are being worked.
Finding a purple med kit there. Is going to get some good use of heals from that, but we've talked about so often in these matches, being able to get a hook before that first Jenny is very disadvantageous for the killing side, and right now Dragon has not been able to do that, and they do have a Jenny off the board. Currently Bomb Pudding working on one, Cromux just found another. Feller is going to be going back to one that's already got 3 pistons chugging, so it's going to be very close to about 60% complete. I got 3 different people working on Jennies, and right now they're in a very good position to come out of here with some good points.
Absolutely, and it's interesting you said about the purple medkit, but at the end of the day, the purple medkit isn't going to open the exit gates for you. You know, like that's the big difference in this tournament. They need to continue applying pressure to those generators because that is the only way they're getting out. And as you can see, Dragon going back to that generator that had work on it just to apply pressure and go, hey, this gen is mine now, go work another one. And that is great work from him, and managing to find a Meg in the process, because you know that people are going to want to stay around the gens that have progression on them. Sometimes it is best just to move on to the next one and go, hey, he thinks I'm over there, so I shall work this gen in peace.
Seeing another Jenny come off the board. Gonna be 2 taken away from the starting squad, 3 remain. Going back to the Jenny we were just saying, he's trying to claim out his zone, keep the survivors off, but they keep coming back to it, sending 2 Meg to make sure they do get that complete, and 3 Jennies off the board, and only 2 remain. The amount of hooks that have happened, I believe Fella's gonna be one of the first hooks, and it's just, I don't think you're trading fast enough if you're the inside.
Absolutely. Well, that's the thing there. Dragon knew that gen was probably too close to save without remaining there, and that would have cost him a lot. So managing to instead go for the hook, and we're seeing now pressure being applied in a different fashion. You know, getting that person on a hook, baiting the survivors in. They feel as though they're doing very well with the generator pressure, so it becomes a different story. Now the Meg here is trying to force him to hit the Meg on hook there instead. Again, wasting Dragon's time by not being able to connect, and wonderfully done. You know, trying to basically feather that chainsaw, and they're gonna try and take a trade here, knowing that they don't want to lose the first Meg who got down. So rather than giving away 3 points, they're like, hey, let's try and do it and change up the strategy. Unfortunately, Dragon has absolutely done what he should do in a tournament scenario and gone, hey, that's my kill. So they have just taken away one of the health states, basically, one of the hook states of this Meg here, and it's backfired in that regard.
receiving information. The Canadian Hookers is on the current killing side. The DBDs are on the surviving team, looking to get out of here with as many points as possible. Then Dragon for the Canadian Hookers, putting in work, keeping the pressure on, and use this chainsaw dash to traverse across the map, finding a Meg. They just were able to rescue one. It looks as though he might have his sights back on her though.
And again, you're seeing that same scenario where early on there's been a lot of pressure on generators, and suddenly it's been stunted. Now that's been through Pendragon's hard work saying, hey, I am not playing your game, and ultimately that is a good strategy. Once again, this is a mistake from this Meg. Going up here, it cuts off a lot of the time you just really shouldn't be jumping out that window in a chase. When you're perkless and you stagger and the killer doesn't. So it's one of those scenarios that we've seen only a few times, I've got to be honest, which is nice. You know, it's nice to see that people are utilizing the base of the house and saying, hey, I could lose line of sight this way rather than jumping out that window and chasing.
Yeah, it's been a great game so far, and I think this game is really showing off why these deserve to be great. And I'm excited to see more of this. I'm on the edge of my seat.
We're going to use a patented Arjo line, which is the thing is that it's one thing to get people on hooks, but if people aren't dying in the process, then you're really putting a lot of pressure on yourself to make sure that you can be everywhere at once. And there you go, talking about hearing what the commentators are saying. Dragon proving that he is listening, making sure that he can not only regress that generator, but down the Meg in the process. Great work there. We're going to absolutely see that there will be another Meg working on the generator. And I think this will be very interesting to see if they want to take it to here. Them going for the unhook. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if you see him go for... Oh, he didn't manage to locate the injured survivor. So going for a healthy one here. There goes the pop of that last gen, and he knows that that generator is quite close to that exit gate, so can't really stay in this chase too long. Unfortunately, really should be considering moving off to the other side of the map, otherwise he's going to lose potentially 3 people straight out the gate. Although as I say that, I see one still on the floor, so that would still be in the minds of the other Megs, as they're managing to get a door open here whilst pressure is being forced, having to break the pallet.
I did see in chat, people are asking why we're on the same map. We always maintain the same map all the way through our tournaments, just to be fair. A lot of the different maps have different balances towards the killer side or towards the survivor side. So in order to maintain just complete fairness, we stay on the same map so the contestants can practice it beforehand and get accustomed to it, and then execute their strategies in the
Absolutely. We've seen a wonderful chainsaw there as well, and Dragon is not going out without a fight, and making sure that he grabs another Meg here. Going to be putting on a hook as far away from the exit gate as possible to be like, hey, if you want this point, come get it. But that's it. There goes not only the Meg, but the purple med kit. And the other 3 wisely skedaddle out the door.
Canadian Hookers.
That's a smart.
No, it is.
Oh, it's a smart decision. You know, you have the lead, just take the lead into the next round and
Oh, Tello, it's not 1-1. Just saying.
Oh, it should not be. I was gonna just about saying Canadian Hookers was able to send one off through the entity. Killer solidifying 1 point for the Canadian Hookers. DBD Autos coming out with a 3-piece on the surviving side, and coming into a round 2 where they have the killer. We've seen many times when the killing side goes into round 2 with a couple point advantage. Once they get that first or second hook, they can play it much slower. So it's going to be has to be a very clean match for Canadian hookers. They have to put the jetting pressure on very early if they want to get that killer to have to feel pressure to move off his first couple hooks to keep. Basically, if he can solidify 2 points, that's it. DBD Autos will be moving on. We'll be continuing to fight for that $5,000 grand prize. We're going to get these teams switched up. Canadian hookers are going to be doing the surviving. DBD Autos are going to be doing the killing. Once I get the green light from both those guys, we will let you know, and then we will get this thing started.
Welcome back. We're going right into it.
I mean, that was a very seamless transition. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
feel like I just did the commentation curse. Oh no,
Yeah,
what
you
have I
did.
done?
You're just a
The
terrible
last
person.
time I said it's been going seamless and very smooth in between. It gave me an error code. I completely
Yeah.
I've never seen ever. Like literally within the other I don't know how many hours of 15 plus tourneys we've done. It literally does that error message. So I feel because I'm putting so much light on this,
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
You're
Terrified.
I have
just gonna
faith.
just gonna get wrecked by the game.
I'm terrified. Oh, I think. Oh, okay, we've
We
done
did
it.
There
We did it,
go.
Reddit.
We're gonna be getting in Rob the Beat coming in on the Hillbilly. Seen a whole lot of, I mean, a good amount of the Hillbilly. We've seen the Pig, the Hillbilly just being a very balanced killer. Oh, seeing immediately 2 Claudettes. Wrong place, wrong time for them. Gonna be an early chase here.
Absolutely, and like I said, I was surprised early on that we weren't seeing more of the Hillbilly, and it's nice to see in the later rounds that people know that he's what I'd consider a safe pick. It doesn't necessarily mean that you can't do well with other killers, as we've seen the Hag, we've seen Myers, the Huntress, we've seen them all play well, but Billy is a safe choice in a tournament like this. Now, in moments like that with chases round barrels, this stagger is going to be brutal. Oh my goodness! Just managing to avoid the chainsaw there, that could have ended disastrously after coming out that window. So, very lucky to escape with only 1 heal state lost there.
Yeah, very lucky to avoid that chainsaw right at the very end there. And, he basically escaped for it, and now we're in a loop here with the
Yeah,
with the
here
Billy.
we go. I mean, this is exactly what we're talking about. They've got Rob on the ropes in terms of early on just eating away at time, and that is brutal. And it's not the fact that he's got the down at the end of it, it's the fact that they've had a load of time to work on generators. Luckily for Rob,
Oh!
he realized that they're on the gen right next to where he downs that Claudette, and he has absolutely turned it around, saying, hey, this is my house, and you cannot do that to me. So great work. What a recovery. That could have been a very, very bad position for Rob to be in, and he has turned that around and said no.
Yeah, he really flipped that. That was very close to being a bad situation for the Dead by Daylight Autos, their killer. But yeah, he just put that one survivor down, chainsaw dash, another time, boom. Now we're on a different game.
Very good awareness put on display, knowing to when he could just leave the survivor slug because he had the opportunity for another down there, just stalling out more time. And you can see a second hit landing now on Voorhees, though with that early jukes from the surviving squad, extending that first chase, allowing the Jenny pressure somewhat now. 2 Jennies off the board, 3 remain. We're seeing a group Claudette heal, get, I believe, top shot back to full health. Voorhees is going to be put on the hook for the first time here.
Absolutely, and we saw Voorhees go as far away as possible from where the action was happening of them unhooking and picking up the survivors to fully heal. And Voorhees dropped pallets early to entice the Billy and be like, hey, by the way, you should come for me. So, I mean, it was a strategy within itself, but at the same time, maybe if he hadn't cut back on that little mind game there, he might have had a chance to extend the chase once more. That is always a tough scenario right there when you get downed and the pallet drops. That is something that absolutely, I believe, is being worked on, because ultimately it should be one or the other, you know, rather than it being a
down
drop
and
pallet
pallet.
and a down. Yeah, so that might be to do with a little bit of lag, but ultimately it's just an unfortunate situation there.
See, he was trying to time it just perfectly to get the stun, and unfortunately, with what you're saying, taking into effect, both of them occurred just on the wrong side of that engagement right there.
There we go. We can see generators still being worked as well. They're still trying to go in for the save. I don't agree with this move right here from this Claudette, and there you go, they're paying for it. There being no pallet there, and also you're just handing him 2 hooks that are pretty much next to each other on these 2 tiles that exist on the map. So now he is in a great position to be like, hey, I don't need any points. Yeah, that was absolutely wild for them to go in there and say, hey, we need this, and managing to get the unhook right under Rob's nose. Great awareness from the Canadian hookers to realize, hey, this is important. This is the game on the line.
Yeah, that was point 4 and 5 right next to each other. If they were both sitting on the hook and Rob was in between them, it would have been very hard. This is giving some body language to and noise to the just barely evading that melee. Claudette jumping through the window, going back for that same loop again.
And this is a strong loop. I mean, there isn't a pallet here, but the window makes it terrifying.
Yeah, but the thing is like Rob is making a conscious decision to chase this survivor. You know, at any point he could have dropped that and been like, hey, you're busy over here. You can run that house on me as much as you like, but I'm going to go and take your teammates out whilst you do it. So it's an interesting thing for him to apply pressure, and as you see, that Claudette stopped running the house. It's funny how if you maintain a chase for long enough, people feel the need to change their strategy and move away. And obviously, with Bloodlust being a thing and existing, Rob was obviously going to be able to pick up speed as a killer and would have cut down the time to get to that loop anyway. So great work from him, just being confident in his abilities to go, hey, if I can continue to apply pressure to the Claudette that I see in front of me, then he feels as though it's going to work out for him in the end. So great work.
Great decision. He had a melee, for sure melee secured, but instead went to charge up the chainsaw dash, go for the insta drop on Top Shot, who was full health, going to be able to get him on a corner hook back off in the distance of the map.
And this is an interesting hook because it's pretty far away from a couple of the generators that are still left. At least let's see how he maintains his pressure while so trying to patrol this hook, or if he does so.
I think the crucial thing here is they really need to finish that last gen if they want any chance as well. So you know, Rob is in the driving seat right now and is managing to drive that chainsaw incredibly well. Good says as he smacks into the side of the ironworks.
Lamentation curse.
Exactly.
He heard you, man.
When you run into that Voorhees dropping in a very timely manner, gonna be running straight into it with that chainsaw dash.
That was a bit of an unnecessary drop there from Voorhees that time. As soon as the Billy put his chainsaw in the air, he did not need to drop that pallet. He could have cut around the corner, and that would have forced Rob into having to drop his chainsaw. So unfortunately, a bit of a waste there in the process, and Rob managing to cut that chase so much shorter than it would have been because of it. There goes that final gen pop. Are we going to see them jump out the window? Rob trying to anticipate it by not following them up there, thinking about the fact that they want to make this rescue. They're not going for the jump. One person just doing so. I think Rob heard it out the window, knowing that they'd stagger. He knows how important this point is, but at the same time, he really, really needs to make sure he can grab another one to not send this to OT.
Mm-hmm. And it is still very possible for the Canadian hookers to just right here. They can pull that off.
Yeah, currently 0.4 in Voorhees, just chilling, hanging out on the hook. Rotherby is definitely content in making sure he can solidify that 0.4. Although a door open, we have 3 Claudettes. I believe it's going to be a 4-4 tie. Going to put this, send this as they were just alluding to into an overtime situation. It would be exactly that. Update the score right now. We're setting ourselves up for a very good first quarterfinal matchup.
I agree. Also,
It's
well done
interesting,
on remembering that
it's interesting there in terms of seeing how Rob and the guys at DBD Autos, I'm sure, are just confident in their abilities to play Survivor, and they feel as though they can outmatch the Canadian Hookers killer. So it's interesting. We'll have to see how Den Dragon responds and how the next game goes.
Just so everybody's aware, the first match occurred in 8. The second match occurred in 8 minutes and 57 seconds. So the Canadian hookers are gonna have the choice for whichever side they want to be on for this overtime match.
Very nice.
Welcome back. We are going into the first overtime between the Canadian Hookers and the Dead by Daylight Autos in the first match of the second round of 2-year anniversary escape tournament. I expect that honestly, this game has been great so far. These two competitors are extremely evenly matched, and interestingly enough, normally when we have a tie like this, it comes from a 2-2 situation or a 4-0 situation, but both of these matches went 3-1.
And you said there was 1 second in the difference between them getting out, wasn't there?
Yes, 1 second.
So
exactly.
that 1 second has given the Canadian Hookers a chance to choose whether or not they wanted to kill or survive, and they have elected to survive. So here we have Rob once again trying his hardest to come back in and turn the tide.
I think he can do it. He's good enough.
I also think it's an interesting pick from the Canadian Hookers is send out their surviving squad. When we see a lot of times from overtime situations, both teams want to be the first to send out their killer. Both these squads, I think, feel maybe a little bit more comfortable with sending out their surviving team. See if the Canadian Hookers can come out with 3 survivors in this first matchup to tip the scale to their side.
Absolutely, and what we need to see from Rob here is he needs to be confident in his abilities like he was in the first round. Right now, there's been a lot of pallets that have been dropped, like 3 so far, but at the same time, he's only broken 1 of them. So suddenly at this point, it's still... there we go, for example, coming back towards that pallet. If he'd have been able to break it earlier, that wouldn't have been an issue. Managing, though, to get that beautiful saw round that corner there. Beautiful work from him. So shutting me up in the process. I appreciate it, Rob. Keep doing what you do.
In that meantime, good use of time management. Surviving squad of Canadian Hookers is going to get that first Jenny taken care of. Second generator is going to be popping right now. 2 off the board and 3 remain, only for 1 hook. They got to be feeling pretty good about that first trade.
Yeah, that's a positive trade in the survivor's favor, and they're really showing why they decided this surviving course.
Agreed. And the thing is here is that even though they popped that gen, somebody, obviously Rob, trying to tackle one of them coming off of that hook, they've actually decided that they'll go and 3-man the gen up top to just apply even more pressure to Rob early on here, whilst one person is chasing. That hook with that chainsaw was so close there to connecting, and unfortunately he just missed. There we go, downing with the
Hammer.
R2 button there instead, and moving on to hooking up the survivor. Words are hard at 6 in the morning.
Absolutely.
I understand.
Oh, yeah.
I understand.
Get it for sure. Top shot hanging out. Gonna be the first Canadian hooker to be just. Oh, it's actually the second Canadian hooker just hanging out. But at the same time, the Jenny pressure from that surviving squad still present. They're gonna get a 3rd generator off the board during that time. 2 remain. See how they're using their time. It looks like all 3 of them potentially on the move, thinking about maybe getting top shot off this hook.
Well, the thing is here is that Rob has very wisely put Top Shot up on a hill. So again, he's going to be able to see from distance if they're going in for the save. So personally, with the fact that it was his first hook, I probably wouldn't have been going in for the save that quickly. They had so much time that they could have Top Shot up there whilst they finished more generators, and instead they've been heroic in going for the save, but it's just instantly taken off that extra 20 or 30 seconds that they had to work generators in the space of maybe 5 seconds. So it's a net loss in that regard.
But I think the reason that they made that play is because they noticed that Rob the Beat tends to hook a survivor and then try to make play on other survivors, and doubled back on himself. Came back with the hook.
Yeah, see, that's a great point in itself. You know, they're forcing him into the mind game of, we are coming for saves. You may not think that that's happening, but we are. Unfortunately, I just feel as though if in that scenario there they hadn't have gone for that move, they would have probably been down to 1 gen already by now. And it's unfortunate because taking another person off off of a generator to go and make the save costs you so much in terms of manpower. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been an interesting one so far. The slow vault there coming through the window, meaning Rob can get pretty much a free hit, and then chasing around this area. This is going to be another down if there is nothing to work with. Unfortunately, no pallet there. There you go, easy pickings.
Currently, the last generator though being worked on. You have all 3 Claudettes going to work on. They're going to get a heal off on Top Shot. Potentially looking to get that last generator completed. In this meantime, getting a Venice on the hook. See if Rob can figure out where these Claudettes are.
The answer is yes, he can. Absolutely making his way back over to this gen. He can get down on
that was
the
terrifying.
Claudette. Beautifully done. He knows that they'll probably be going back in for the save, but that's fine because it means he can hook her over towards this generator. He's not. He's deciding, hey, I want to protect that hook as well. I personally would have gone straight back and protected that generator by putting on a hook near it. Instead, Rob is like, I am making sure that I can hook her up where I can. And you see what I mean. The mosquitoes that are the survivors then are just back on that generator. So I probably wouldn't have allowed them to get that kind of pressure instead. And now you're probably going to be looking at them having one person here, sticking around, seeing how long they can work. Rob making quick work of that Claudette. And instead, you'll probably see them trying to work another generator. Rob is gallantly dousing their efforts every time they try and finish this game off right here. And he's doing a great job in that regard. But as you can see, they have managed to get another generator up to about 75%, and they really want to finish that off before he gets back to them.
That is a dead auto, though. We talked about it earlier. They went for the save pretty early on Top Shot, and it basically cost him to be dead on hook. And as soon as he got hooked, off the Valhalla, claimed by the entity.
Absolutely, and Rob trying his hardest to make sure that he can down another survivor just to at least tie this up, with the exit gates being opened as we speak. There we go, managing to connect on that chainsaw that we just saw briefly before we switched to the exit gate. So if Rob can hook this Claudette up, maybe he would have time to get there. Unfortunately not, considering how far away this hook was from the exit gate. So this is probably going to be it. I wouldn't put it past them running out that exit gate.
Yeah, they're gone.
Entity shall claim 1, about 0.6 for DBR. Those 2 points out the door for Canadian Hookers. It's going to be another overtime situation, pushing another 2-2 even split. We're going to see if we're going to have these guys switch DBRs. They're going to be sending in their surviving core. Canadian Hookers are going to be sending in their killer, and then see if one of these guys can come out with a decisive 3-point sway. Give them the definitive win that both these teams are looking for. Leading up to it is absolutely tight. Just anticipating more of the same leading into it. I'm really excited to see how this plays out. And we're going to have the DBD autos and Canadian Hookers conclusion as soon as we can get this lobby set up.
And then I said, I'll have what she's having. Oh, we're back? Wait,
Oh
what?
my! Back to the character who like finishes the joke. The
Yeah,
one tournament like
he
months
ends the
ago,
story.
he would
Yeah,
only
he
come
ends the
in with the
story.
punchline, but like never would have
There-
any of the context leading up
Yeah,
to it. So it was just
there's no
like,
context in the
Don't
background.
worry, guys. You didn't miss much.
No, there wasn't
in
anything. There was nothing to miss.
well, we're gonna see with that again. Once again, kids coming in with that solid golden nugget of goodness.
hmm
Gonna see how this overtime round
Double.
2,
Dub.
yeah, dub overtime plays out. DBD autos score 6, Canadian hookers at 6 as well. Both these teams gonna be looking to tip the scales with the 3-point sway. Den Dragon immediately coming in with the hell detect and using that chainsaw dash traverse across the map, immediately finding a Meg in his sights.
Beautiful. I love this so much, having two seasoned hillbillies going up against each other and being like, hey, you know, whatever you can do, I can do better. So we're gonna see if Den Dragon can deliver.
So far, so good.
There you go. Absolutely. Starting off early. Again, just getting the one hit still doesn't really mean much in comparison. You need to see somebody get downed. Because as we know, you know, you can extend a chase for a long time still whilst you're injured, as long as you play the pallet locations correctly. And that's what we're seeing right now. Probably again, that was a brave move to cut back there. I really didn't expect them to, but I think they were so secure in what they were doing. The Meg was that it worked on the cutback. It's going to cost about a gen and a half in terms of progress, but Den Dragon has managed to get one of the Megs on the hook.
It's a good trade for the surviving core, but it's much faster than we've seen in the previous. Normally, at this point in the match, once you get the first hook, 2, maybe even 3 generators are getting ready to pop. So I think this is a great start for Den Dragon and his ability to enforce his will on the Dead by Daylight autos.
Well, the lucky thing there as well was the generator that they were working happened to be not too far away, and Den Dragon just picked the right one. So that 75% progression, you know, was instant, and they went and finished that gen anyway. They knew how important it was to get rid of that. Like I said, with getting hooks next to generators, it can just kill all of the hard work that you've done on gens. So the problem is that having to do that has resulted in the fact that another Meg has been found in the process. So that is the unfortunate trade-off.
Den Dragon smelling out that pallet drop incoming. Completely turns back, doesn't want to get sucked up into that. He's going to keep tabs on Feller, who's currently on the hook. Very close to being sent off here. I think he wants to potentially solidify this point, put him in a just more advantageous position moving into the rest of this matchup, already having 1 point on the board.
Absolutely, and with 3 gens left to complete, obviously they're working hard on doing that. He knows that if he gets that 1 point, that it's only going to be one other to just get the overtime. So it's a good move. It's a solid strategy to cut this down to 3 people with 3 generators.
And right there, Feller is going to go off. Entity shall happens to be a point on the board for Canadian hookers. And right here, once the gen pressure was started, very good for Den Dragon doing what he needs to do. And just as I say that, Rob the beat is jumping out of his seat there. Den Dragon cutting Rob the beat nearly in half when he put him on the hook.
That was a wonderful saw, and again, the idea of there was enough distance as there as well from Rob to be able to juke, and Den Dragon just said, "Hey, I'm putting you in your place," and made sure that didn't happen. That was a beautiful saw.
And I like to pop off when something cool happens. I apologize if that
Don't apologize for good things happening in game. It was a very, very good saw. And again, we're seeing the fact that with 2 generators left to go, Dragon just wants to secure this point here. But at the same time, that 60 seconds that he might be waiting there just for the Meg to go into struggle state is enough time for them to start working these gens and potentially get them done. So it could come down to the wire in terms of, this is very good news for Dragon. He doesn't know it yet, but that Meg having to start that generator is going to take them a considerable amount of time. That's going to be 80 seconds, and they started it there will probably be about 5 or so seconds left on that last gen if the Meg doesn't go immediately over there to help by the time this other Meg dies on hook. So it's going to be a close one in terms of that gen popping and the hook death, but there is going to be an opportunity for sure for Dragon to potentially close out this game, this round, if he can nail a chainsaw after that last gen pops. This is going to be very interesting. It's kind of like anticipating the great meal you're about to have, and it's sitting in front of you and you can see it unfolding before your eyes. You're like, oh my goodness, this is about to happen. I cannot wait. Let's see if the Megs have gone, and if they're working the gen together, they're probably going to get through this a bit faster than expected. There you go. See, so that now Dragon is going to be put into a position here. There, and now we see it. The Meg dying on hook pretty much, as I was saying, just about the same time as the gen pop. So now it's going to be the chase and the hunt to find one of these Megs, down them, and end this game.
And I like the strategy of not immediately running to the... You're trying to confuse the Dragon a little bit, because he's looking at these doors like, where the heck are they? And they're just kind of hanging out with to double back on himself. And I think that's a great strategy.
Yeah, just it's more of a mind game than anything else. If you're encouraging the killer to go back and forth, they get very complacent in the fact that they are doing one maneuver to go over to this door, and then they are turning around and going over to the other one. Oh, there we go, though. Finding that Meg, knowing that she would be back there eventually. Great work from Dragon to just maintain their patience and stick with it. Missing that saw there, though. She should be running towards the house. That is what she's doing right now. She's going to be able to get out that window. Dragon just in hot pursuit, because they will be trying to open that door frantically. Trying to take another loop around the house by the looks of this. This is a bit of a mistake there, and that could be it. That could be the deciding factor. They should have been running directly towards that door after they jumped out that window. But the other Meg having a flashlight too, she potentially could have been in there to try and get that save after opening that door. And that is going to be
I don't see how you can rescue her.
Yeah, there's absolutely. I mean,
she has a chance to jump, but even then, this is gonna be the end. And my goodness, what a way to end it. Dragon just proving that they, oh my goodness, with the flashlight, gonna go for the flashlight blind. Dragon just moving around, making sure that they don't get blinded here.
Yeah, that would be disastrous to get blinded, and then all of this person's off the hook, and then all of a sudden 2 people are out the door.
Absolutely, this is pretty much the only way there would be anything left. And the thing is that committing to that blind with the yellow flashlight would take a considerable amount of time in itself to actually connect with the blind, and at that point you might have a chainsaw in your face. So we'll see as to what's going to happen here. I don't believe that this is going to be anything but Dragon's victory, him holding the trophy of that chainsaw above his head, saying, hey, this is us going through to the next round.
Ramos looking for his opportunity. He knows, hey, I gotta at least just give it all I got. I'm gonna go out swinging. I know this is not looking good, but hey, I gotta try something.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place here, fortunately.
He got the ability to go for the dash.
He's moving around. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's the thing with that, with the cooldown of the saw versus the time of picking that person off. But they pick their flashlight back up. If they could get into position for the flash save,
I don't think it's gonna
oh
happen.
my goodness, that would have been the most epic play you would have ever seen. Unfortunately, I don't know why they dropped it.
that's
Maybe
a
they
weird
were
choice.
trying to prove that they didn't have it anymore. But ultimately, like if they'd have kept hold of that flashlight, they could have got themselves into a position to make a flash save. That would have been fantastic. I think it was just maybe a little
Shades
too
of
technical.
airmail.
But wow, what a way to end. Congratulations.
Absolutely. You see
Congratulations,
right at
absolutely.
the end there, Crymox